welcome back to our second Purple Pain episode of the season. Yes. Welcome back to episode 336 of the Purple Pain podcast. The Jim Leonard, Jeremy Miles, Owen Wright episode, Chuck Clark, now an op, Danny Gore episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Thank you for spending your Tuesday evening with us here. Unfortunately, not the best of circumstances, but we have a lot to talk about the game last night. That was on Monday Night Football against the Detroit Lions. First and foremost, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Just go over here on Instagram or on X at Sutton Def. Me, Instagram, simply as10.product, or on X at simply as10, and most importantly, our sponsor, Manscaped. Go on there, use code PRP for 20% off your whole order and free international shipping. And like the video, subscribe if you like what you're watching. And yeah, just stick around, enjoy it. Don't be scared to leave a comment, interact with the Rain Gang. But yes, it is going to be probably a little bit of a vent session here. Got a lot to talk about from last night. Obviously, you're about 20 hours since the loss. How are you feeling right now?
I think I'm in that stage of where it's not anger anymore. Like last night, it was a lot of anger. You know what I mean? And I went live last night actually after the game, and I was pretty upset. It was pretty hot, even though I kind of held it back. But today, like you said, 20 hours removed from it all, I kind of feel this. I don't know. I feel this like deep worry about the team, only because it feels like they're kind of stumbling over the same obstacles every single time. You know what I mean? And that's what's kind of concerning to me. You know, you see Lamar Jackson out there getting frustrated. You see the defense not being able to stop anything. Which, by the way, you were at the game, so I don't think you really saw Lamar's facial expressions and things like that. Did you? When did you catch wind of that?
I didn't. I'm just finding out now.
Wow.
So my
Wow.
thing is, like, I was kind of doom tweeting, and I just had to get off of there because I was going to say some stuff that would have got me in trouble to some people, and I'll get into it. But I didn't see his face. I saw he was frustrated. I believe we're at the 1 yard line. I think he was upset. I think we took like a timeout or something. I'm not too sure where it was, but I know he was really upset then. That's all I saw.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was multiple plays, like literally, like as soon as the play would end on offense, you would see the camera cut to him, and he would just look like pissed. Like he was looking over at the sidelines, like, why the F would we call what we just called? Like, what are we doing? I think it was the Derrick Henry touchdown toss, or the Derrick Henry end zone toss that was just almost looked like I had shades of James Prochet.
Yeah.
You know, from a couple of seasons ago with that happening. I mean, watching Derrick Henry double clutch a ball that he's getting ready to throw into the end zone, you know, that had Lamar heated. It had me heated. I'm sure Ravens fans around the world. But I was just, I don't know, man. I was feeling very, because, you know, sometimes you can take a silver lining from a game. I took no silver linings from last night's game.
No.
You know, couldn't stop the run. You know what I mean? Jared Goff was getting whatever he wanted. Was no way to get pressure on him. You know what I mean? And this is Jared Goff's your guy, so I know.
But
you know,
he's not
yeah.
good, and that's the thing. Like, I like mediocre we go through like all the quarterbacks I've liked growing up, they were not good. They were mediocre. And Jared Goff, he is good in the system. But when you give him all day and no pass rush, that's what's going to happen. He's going to pick you apart. He's an NFL starting quarterback for a reason. And that's what's even more frustrating. And I think I have one silver lining. It was Bateman. Like, when you throw the ball his way, he's going to make plays, and it took us 3 games to get into it. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Really, just I'm worried. I'll be honest with you. We'll get into it. But right now, it's like the vent session. I'm kind of with you now. It's kind of just like you've accepted it. And how are we going to, move on from this? But we said that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And it's even more concerning because, you know, and I guess we're just going to vent, guys. We're going to vent. You guys can vent in the chat. We're going to bounce back and forth off of you guys in the chat. If you're not watching this live and you're part of the hashtag replay gang, shout out to you. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. I see a couple people in the live chat here though that I gotta give a shout out to, real quick before I get into anything else. Lunch Break Hot Take is in the building. Was just live with Jose from Lunch Break Hot Take, and I was actually on the Ravens Roundtable, which is hosted on Coach Evans Sip to Tally Films channel, who's also in the chat. Shout out to both of those guys. We've been having a lot of fun doing Ravens Roundtable so far. Today's episode was kind of somber in a way, kind of like how we are today here on the Purple Pain podcast, because this Ravens team, it just feels like my guy coach just said a couple of minutes ago. He said the Ravens just got to figure something out, and the fact that like that's what it's come down to, like we don't know exactly what it is, like we can't pinpoint, like put our finger on it. And Marlon Humphrey said this on his podcast, like we don't know what is wrong, we don't know what the issue. You know what I mean? Like we just kind of woke up not knowing the answers. Like that is my biggest concern. Because are you going to have that turned around and fixed by the time you visit Arrowhead next weekend to play the Chiefs, who are also desperate, and you drop that one, you're staring down a 1-3 start to the season. Now, I don't know the stats on how many 1-3 teams end up making the playoffs, but I would assume it's not very many. You know what I mean? And I get that the Ravens do have a favorable schedule, especially after the bye. After the Texans and Rams game, we've got a bunch of teams that we should beat, right? But based off of what we saw last night against the Lions, it ain't going to take much to beat this Ravens team. You need a competent O-line, some guys who can win on the outside, a weapon or two. That's all you need. And you just need a competent quarterback who can make the throws, because it's clear and obvious that the Ravens have a very, very hard time. And I guess we can start here with the defense, Alex. Like the Ravens have a very hard time generating pressure. And hell, they have a hard time stopping the run too. What were your thoughts? Because you were at the game. What were your thoughts on what you saw from the defense collectively?
We were blitzing Nate Wiggins at a point. What's that really doing? He's the smallest guy on the defense, you know what I mean? And he's getting picked up by linemen. I think it was by a tackle or the running back, and he didn't move men off. So now
Yeah,
that's not really doing much. The defense, Roquan looked clueless out there. We dropped Mike Green into coverage. I saw we had
nasty
Marlowe
work.
lining up, in the box. We had Ojabo. I'm like, it just felt like a game of Madden where like you just pick guys with speed and you just like start putting them in, like using them. Except this is actually real life and that doesn't matter. They were just putting guys anywhere. It was embarrassing. It looks like we don't know what we're doing on defense. Communication, there really wasn't that much turnover. You know what I mean? Defensively, I'd say Van Noy's not out
Right.
there, Matabike's not out there, but you still have your green dot guy out there. So what's the communication issues?
That's the
Um,
issue, man. When it comes to Roquan Smith, just kind of sticking there for a second. Like he played so well last week. Had the fumble recovery that turned into a touchdown, had multiple TFLs and whatnot. But then going into this game against a, a basically a much bigger game, much higher stakes, right? Against an actual good team, he was just lost in the sauce out there. And like you just can't have so much money being allocated to the defensive side of the football and them not show up and make big impactful plays on a week in, week out basis. Like my problem with Roquan Smith is that he does not impose his will on an offense the way that we're used to seeing linebackers in a Baltimore Ravens jersey do. And you guys know who I'm talking about. Jose brought up something funny on the pod that I was just on. He was saying that I guess the Roquan Smith exorcism didn't work. I mean, the Ray Lewis exorcism didn't work this week for Roquan. And I'm just like, I don't know what it's gonna take for like the switch to be flipped for this guy and really just kind of go all out. I mean, when he first got to Baltimore, he was that guy. He was intense, upfront, in your face, leadership, all of that. And he was making plays on the field to back it up. But over the past couple of seasons, it's just like, well, honestly, ever since the AFC Championship game lost to the Chiefs in 2023, he hasn't been the same guy, man. He has not been the same guy. But I didn't mean to derail you. I just
okay.
felt really strongly about Roquan Smith. But go ahead, continue with how you
No,
felt
no,
about the
you're
defense.
right. I mean, when you have 100 million allocated into a player of that stature, you expect game changing plays in and out. I think the gap between the elite linebackers and like the great slash good is huge. For me, it's
Yeah.
Fred Warner all at the top all the way. You can put Zach Bond up there, but I think it's like far and away he's the best at his position. Roquan was in those conversations, in 23, 22. But these past 2 years, man, I don't know if that's because, Mike McDonald left and, Zach Ward took over. It's kind of just really sad to watch because you saw the player he was. What
Yeah,
happened?
yeah. It's ridiculous. Martavius Lucado in the chat. What's going on? Martavius says he looked way better with Mike McDonald.
Yeah.
I mean, and let us not forget, Mike McDonald did have his kind of growing pains as a defensive coordinator as well, but he turned it around a lot quicker than Zach Orr has. I mean, this is the second year of Zach Orr. We kind of gotta remember that. Like, so we already went through this whole thing last year where the defense started it off playing like some absolute trash, right? And then they turned it around. And once they turned it around, we were all thinking to ourselves, like, okay, they've got it figured out. We can take this success and we can build upon it. We can get guys in the draft, and then we can go into the next season, being this season, and the defense is going to hit the ground running. The defense has hit the ground stumbling, falling to the ground, and not getting back up. The defense needs Life Alert right now. I don't know if you guys know about Life Alert, right? They fall and they can't get up. That's what this defense needs right now, because they cannot seem to get any sort of consistency, any sort of dominance established. Like, and it's just very uncharacteristic for a Ravens defense. It's horrible to see. And I'm mainly talking about how the Ravens just got ran all over yesterday. And I know that had to be something, watching it at the game, like a 72-yard run from David Montgomery. Do you know David Montgomery's stats yesterday, Alex? What, 12 carries for 150 something yards, 2 touchdowns? It's crazy. Averaging 12 yards a carry. I mean, yeah, go ahead,
David
man.
Montgomery. And I mean that much in the big 25, and no disrespect to him, but they did to us what we do to other teams. And I
Yes.
do want to give a shout to the fans, because every time it was third down, fourth down, it was hitting 112 decibels or more. It did not lower under 110. So I believe the fans to their, I mean, this is even in the fourth quarter when, it's 31-24 and it's a long shot, we can even come back and win this game, but we were loud, and I don't know, man. They just fell short. Like, it's just been the theme with this defense. And I was sitting there actually when we were driving in the third and fourth quarter, like, I really wasn't celebrating, because even if we score, who really has any faith for the defense to make a stop when we need to? You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't going to happen. So it's like, yeah, we can score now, but we're going to stop it. So we can pause that real quick, as I think Chris just joined the Rain Gang. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Just came
Appreciate you,
through.
Chris. Celebrating 1 month of membership here at the Purple Rain Podcast. Uh-oh. We got somebody making it rain, too. Appreciate you, Chris, for joining the membership. And then also we've got a super chat donation. This one's coming from DWAS, making it rain with the 2-piece in the chat. Already giving us the referee for Sunday's game. Clay Martin is going to be officiating the game against the Chiefs for the Ravens. So, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it more on Thursday, of course. So I got to keep that in the forefront of my mind. But thank you for the super chat donation, DWAS. We appreciate you every time. But yeah, continuing what you were saying, man. I mean, like, again, and I want to say this while we stay on the defensive side of the football, right? You saw just how much the Ravens were getting pushed around the front seven. You know what I mean? Like John Jenkins, I thought, started the game out pretty good, stuffing the run, right? But then slowly but surely, I mean, the Lions, they stuck with it, and eventually the dam broke. You know what I mean? And they started popping off runs 8-10 yards a pop. We got D-Wiz joining the membership, joining the Rain Gang, along with Chris. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, D-Wiz. Man, we appreciate that. Let me see. What else? Yeah. Hold on. Let me put this on the screen real quick. I won't let that go. But yeah. So Jenkins was good until he wasn't, like my guy Khalil in the chat says. You had guys out there. Travis Jones was getting double teamed pretty much all night. It was insane. Another super chat donation. DWA's making it rain some more. 2-piece in the chat says emergency Ravens meeting. I know that's right, man. That's right. That's right. But
that's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't listen. I don't want to be that guy and call out players, but I have to do this one. It's a guy in a contract year who, in 3 games, has 1 tackle. Who we had high hopes for this year. Who we needed to step up.
Don't tell me Odafe we got 1 tackle on the season.
1 solo tackle the whole season.
See, this is what I'm talking about, Alex. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, why is it?
If you can't laugh, you know what I mean?
I know. But, like, my thing is, like, why is it that the Ravens, out of all the teams In the AFC North, they get their premier pass rusher, right? You got a Trey Hendrickson, you got TJ Watts of the world, you got the Myles Garretts. And meanwhile, the Ravens take swing after swing after swing. Spent the first round pick on Odafe Owe. Had 10 sacks last season. He's really good at a lot of things, setting the edge, running down quarterbacks when they break contain, things like that. He's good at that. But is he good at generating immediate pressure and knocking a quarterback like Jared Goff, who that is his X factor, is being on his spot and delivering a throw from the pocket? Can he get those guys off their spot and make them uncomfortable? The answer is no. Another super chat donation from our guy, Carl. Carl in the house making it rain. What's going on, Carl? Appreciate you dropping the 10 piece in the chat. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Says energy at the bank was incredible. Yeah, I bet. He said it didn't come underneath 110 decibels, so I know that the bank was rocking. He said, but the team wasn't even close to matching it. Everyone looked lost out there. Need a coaching shakeup. So yeah, I mean, Alex, I want to get into the coaches side of things as well. You know, yeah, let's go ahead and transition to that, because what I also wanted to bring up is going to be the I words and guys getting hurt and things like that. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But sticking with what Carl is saying right now, is a coaching shakeup needed? How likely is that to happen?
Right.
And just what are you thinking about all of that right now?
I mean, it's a solid question to make, and it's not going to be the head coach, I think, unless things get really bad. Like I want to roll that out, even though I'm at that point. I put hashtag Harbaugh out for a reason. I was upset, but I'm still going to stand by it, and I have my reasons, and I'll be happy to share them. But as for this, Zach Orr has got to look at himself in the mirror. I really appreciate what he's done for the organization as not only a player, as a linebacker coach as well, because he took over from Rob Ryan, who was pitiful at linebacker coach in 2021. And Zach was able to steady the ship under Mike McDonald. Last year, had a great ending. I think he had a good game plans against the Steelers and the Bills. It was hard to stop the run, unfortunately, and one big Brandon Stevens mix-up was the play in the Bills game. But this year, the talent is there. I have a hard time believing that this drop-off can just happen, and that Kyle Van Noy means that much. I mean, Madubuike, I'm not taking away. I know how much he means to this team, and I know. But Van Noy and even some of the zones, he was just picking us apart, Jared Goff, last night. I just feel like he's just just calling stuff to call. I just don't know what he's doing, and there's got to be a shakeup. We have guys who can take over. I mentioned Pagano, and somebody was like, "Well, the secondary hasn't been doing their job." How long do we want the secondary to be covering guys for 15 seconds?
Right.
When Jared Goff has all day, he's gonna find somebody. It's the NFL. It's not college where it's not NIL guys that are there's not that big a difference in talent. No, it's the NF freaking L. You've got to get some type of pressure. So Zach Orr, please, man, look at yourself in the mirror. I think he's the one. I don't need to scapegoat him, but that's where the issues are.
You're right. 100 people watching live right now. Thank y'all so much for coming out to this episode 336 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that like button. In fact, if you are here to have a Ravens therapy session, and even if you're not, even if you're a Lions fan lurking in the shadows, right, and you want to talk some junk,
go for
it. What's up? Maybe still like the video and subscribe to the channel as well. We'd appreciate it, guys. Somebody else making it rain here. Who's that making it rain? That's Rod Wave. Rod Wave is making it rain here on this episode 336 of PRP. Alex, I promise you I'm about to get back to what you were saying. But Rod Wave in the chat here dropping the 10 piece. What's going on, Rod Wave? Thank you so much. Says, after 2023, our Super Bowl windows closed and Lamar is getting older. Why do we say we have talent on defense when they never perform? We will miss the playoffs. We are a bad team. Yeah, this is very doom and gloom here from Rod Wave. But I feel him though. Because it's just like, when you have, again, and I'll mention it again, when you have a Marlon Humphrey saying after the game, like, we don't know what the heck just happened. Right? We don't know. Like, we're at a loss for words. That's an issue. I think that speaks to a lack of leadership. You're supposed to have leadership. You're supposed to have coaches in these scenarios who can coach you out of these bad times. And like you said, Zach Orr, he had his kind of I guess you could say benefit of the doubt year last year in his rookie coaching season. But now, like my guy Jose said earlier, he said it to me. He said the training wheels are off. You know what I mean? So it's just like you kind of have to step up. You got to step up now, and we don't want to see these defensive collapses. Kind of getting back to what you were saying, like, Jared Goff, yes, this is the NF freaking L. Like you cannot sit back. I don't care if it's Tua Tagovailoa back there. I don't care if it's Bryce Young, any quarterback that you would consider less than desirable to have on your team. It doesn't matter. They're all professionals, right? They're leaps and bounds above college guys and whoever else that are at a lower caliber. They will pick you apart if you let them, right? And especially a guy like Jared Goff, who in the modern day of quarterbacks, right? You would ideally want who like a Lamar Jackson, like a Josh Allen, a Jaden Daniels, a Patrick Mahomes, guys who are mobile, right? Guys who can escape around. But when you have a Jared Goff who's still doing it in the NFL and he has none of that ability, that will tell you right there that what does he want to do? He wants to hit his three-step drop and he wants to get that football out, right? So if you're not generating immediate pressure on these guys, you're not going to get good results. You're just not. And I think also a lot of it. How do you feel about the pass rush specifically? I know we talked about Adafe Owe. I know we talked about no Kyle
Yeah.
Van Noy. How are you feeling about Mike Green right now? Who, to me, because we talked about it last week, Alex. Before you
Yeah.
answer, we talked about it last week. We said, at what point do we start to have some concerns about when this guy is actually going to give us production? I think he had like a 4% pass rush win rate, according to ESPN yesterday. I mean, every time I see him, he's normally getting stonewalled. I don't know if he's being coached into playing differently or what. But what are your thoughts on the pass rush, specifically Mike Green? Because we were so excited to see him.
I thought he would have gotten one yesterday. I said it last week. I thought, we're not playing a mobile quarterback. We're not playing a Josh Allen. The Browns, and Flacco dumps it off. We know that. But against Goff, and if you line him up on the right side, not against Sewell, maybe, on a Taylor Decker, I like his chances. I can't sit here and, write him off. It's 3 games, but am I worried? A little bit, but I'm also worried with everybody on the line too. Maybe
Yeah.
life would be easier if we had other guys up there, but if you're worrying right now, you have every reason to and every right to. I'm not going to doubt you, but for me, I'm a little bit, not all the way, but you would have thought by now he was a top 15 projection. You would expect him to at least, maybe get a half sack or something, but we really haven't seen that, have we?
Yeah. No, we haven't. We haven't. And kind of sticking with this defense and really just the team overall. This is another comment here coming from our guy Carl. Carl says after the bye week, we're going to go on a big win streak against bad teams. We're going to get our hopes up, then shoot ourselves in the foot the minute we play a real contender in the playoffs. This is kind of the narrative that the Ravens are walking themselves into this season, just kind of naturally, right? I mean, like if you go out and let's say you come out of this Chiefs, Texans, and Rams trio, right? Let's say you come out of that 1-2, right? At that point, you're what, 2-4 on the season, and like you just after the bye week, you got who do you got? The Bears, you got the Dolphins, you got the Vikings, the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers. Then you ended with the Steelers. I mean, that is I could see the defense miraculously turning itself around during those weeks. And then, we're right back where we were last year, having high hopes going into the playoffs. And then they're going to face a good team in the playoffs, wild card or divisional round. Um, and the lights are going to get too bright, man. I think that just mentally, what these type of losses do to the team are just so detrimental. They're so detrimental because it sets you up for failure for the rest of the season. And I know these guys want to take it 1 week at a time. That's what I'm sure Harbaugh is preaching today in the locker room. Like, let's get this loss out of our minds. We got another really tough opponent coming up, but that's always going to be in the back of their mind. You had a big emotional dump against the Bills week 1. You lost that game. You come back out home opener, bounce back against the Browns, and even though you bounce back against the Browns, it was just like, it's the Browns. They don't have the offensive talent to really keep up with the Ravens. And then you go against the Detroit Lions and they rush for over 200 yards on you. And it's like, this is not where we were supposed to be going into the season, especially not defensively. It's just not.
Yeah, I want to preface. I think we make the playoffs. I'm pretty sure we do. And
Mm,
I can agree with this statement here that we'll probably have a streak against bad teams. We had it last year after the bye with Giants, Steelers, Texans, Steelers, Browns, then Steelers. So that was 5 games right there that defense shut them down. And Bills, you can throw them in there. But in the regular season, are you scared of any of those offenses, especially the Texans? They were end of the season horrific. They couldn't get anything going. So now I think if you don't win these, I mean, I'll tell you this right now, you got to go into Kansas City and win. You have to. If you lose this game, man, just fucking pack it up. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of soulless, just overpaid losers in this team. I hate to say it because you cannot go 1-3 with all this talent, with all this, playing these teams that have knocked you out, that have really tested your manhood, and lose to them. It irks me. And I'll tell you this, I'm tired of the Roquan pregame speeches. I know what he says in every single one. We've heard it all before. It's just it's just the defense as a whole. It's embarrassing. From what we grew up watching, me and you, to this now, where did it go wrong?
Yeah.
Where,
It's
where the
night and
fuck did it go
day.
wrong?
I have no idea, bro. Honestly, uh, where did they go wrong? I mean, one could just straight up say John Harbaugh. You know what I mean? They could straight up say John Harbaugh. And the only reason I say that, of course, John Harbaugh, he is loved by national media for the most part. They're kind of starting to wake up to the fact that Harbaugh might be the culprit behind the Ravens' recent failures, right? And the only reason why they're doing that today and they weren't doing that in years past is because in these losses, Lamar Jackson is playing pretty damn phenomenal. You know, I know he took the 7 sacks yesterday. 3 or 4 of them, at least, I think, were on Lamar Jackson for kind of holding onto the ball too long. Again, you want to tip your cap to the Detroit Lions front 7 because they did a good job at keeping him contained and not allowing him to hop out the window on them. And so that you kind of got to tip your cap to them for that. But same time, I thought Lamar Jackson should have gotten some of those passes off and maybe tucked it and run. But for the most part, though, Lamar Jackson looked like classic Lamar Jackson. There were times in that game where I'm just thinking to myself, like, I don't know how this kid, Lamar, continues just week in and week out just to make plays, make something out of nothing. You know what I mean? We're talking like 3rd downs, 4th downs, like with long yardage to go. And he's just making plays. He's just making plays. So, Alex, I want to ask you this. Towards the end of the game, there was a moment where it was about 4 minutes left, and the Ravens decided to punt the ball, right, on 4th and 9. Did you think that was the wise decision from the Ravens coaching staff?
So I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm so happy you mentioned that because, oh, Sam, with the one,
Sam.
that's not dollars. That is not dollars, by the way.
Oh, that
That
£2.
yes.
Whoa.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
You come
Appreciate
out
that.
Suarez with
Appreciate
that
that.
199. So
Yeah.
thank you, Sam. Oh man.
Thank you.
Right, mind you, it's what 2 a.m. in England right now, where he's from.
Oh,
That's
wow.
love, respect.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you,
Yeah.
thank
Big
you.
respect. Big respect. And that makes history. We've never gotten £2, that type of currency on here. So that's crazy. That's crazy. I love it.
Oh man. So I'm gonna talk about the Raven way real quick. You're talking about Lamar. No,
Yeah.
I think that was the wrong choice. 4th and 9. I think you keep the ball in your best player's hands, and I think he did it against the Bills as well in 4th and 3. And when people,
Mm.
why I said Harbaugh out, because I think it's decisions like that. You're not trusting your quarterback. Tell you what, the quarterback doesn't trust his line. I think that's why he had happy feet. Was probably taking some of those sacks because they were getting cooked and he was running around, kind of running into guys. But to your point, yeah, I think that was wrong. I think you go for it there,
Now, did you think that in the moment? Like, did you, like,
100%.
you
I
did?
I did think that. Because if you punt it, like we couldn't stop him. We couldn't stop her. Anything.
That's
Got him a
true.
4th
That's
down,
true.
and then
And even though the offense was kind of struggling, and like I said, I mean, the offensive line kind of fell apart a little bit towards the end there. Even though the offense was struggling in that second half, I still think that you're right. I think you got to put the ball in Lamar Jackson's hand. We've seen way crazier things happen. When you basically trust Lamar Jackson to give you a big play to swing momentum back your way. Because again, like you said, man, the defense wasn't stopping anything. They weren't stopping anything, man. They were defeated by that point. Nobody was going to get a big sack. The Ravens got 0 sacks on Jared Goff. 0. Zilch, nada, like nothing. It was embarrassing all around. So I agree with you there. I do think that the Ravens should have gone ahead and went for it. In the moment, I wasn't too terribly mad at it because I'm thinking like, okay, 4th and 9, that is a long ways to go, but I need to see, I can't just let the defense off the hook, bro. Like I need to see this defense come through in a big spot because I think that's the only way, to be honest with you, Alex, that they're going to get their swagger back, that they're going to get their juice back, that they're going to get their identity. They're going to find their identity is by being trusted in a big moment and actually pulling through in that big moment. You know what I mean? Until the Ravens defense can kind of have that moment for themselves, I think you'll still find them being lost out there. There's just no way with the personnel that we've got. There's no way in hell, no chance that this Ravens team is where it ranks right now defensively. I think 31st in overall defense and like 30th in go ahead.
415 yards a game given up.
Yeah. See, like that is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. And I was saying this. Another super chat donation is Rod Wave again, dropping a 5-piece in the chat, making it rain.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Rod Wave. What does Rod say? Rod says Brian Flores should be our next coach. These players are never ready for big moments. Why do we never talk about the O-line coach? He is not good. We don't talk about George that much on here. No, we don't.
No. So we have a lot to talk about with the last two chats. Yeah. So our next coach will kind of dial into the Raven way is dead. But what we'll say about the 4th and 9, I thought D-Hop made an amazing grab on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
Bateman did the same thing. Tez Walker routed his defender up. Zay Flowers can create separation. Like, we have the guys, that can create separation. And on 4th and 9, throw it up to D-Hop. I trust him in a one-on-one. But that's enough of that on the 4th and 9. But as for the Raven way, what I would like, I know it won't happen. We talked about this over the offseason. The come to Jesus moment. I would love for somebody to test John's manhood. And I know it won't happen. And I get the whole respect thing. No. But someone needs to grab him by the nuts, no pun intended, and just be like, you're a bitch. Honestly. And not like that, but really just question his thought process and his thinking. Because I hate to say it, but low key, what I'm sorry. I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of John. And how do you have this many supporters in the Big 25? We've been seeing this for how long, and I think we have had the roster the past 2 years to win it. And from coaching, it kind of falls back on him. So, and the favoritism in the line is a big reason for, I think why we've been fumbling. And I hate seeing Lamar kind of take accountability. I would love for him, to call somebody out, but that's not his character. I know it's not. But one of these players has to, do something, and whether it's, in the locker room, I would love for him to just test him, because John, he's lost it with some of these players, I think.
Yeah, and man, these are great points that you're making here.
My mind's
see you guys in the
everywhere
chat
too,
saying,
man. I haven't talked about the game with
bro.
anybody yet. I've kind of just kept it all in.
Perfect. I do think that there is a level of softness when it comes to Ravens head coach John Harbaugh, especially, it was very on brand for his team to get bullied by a Dan Campbell team. You know what I mean? It was very on brand for something like that to happen. And with Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson specifically, Lamar Jackson talked about how he wants to be more of a vocal leader, right? His mom even challenged him to be more of a vocal leader this season. But I think that goes beyond just kind of holding the players on your team, your teammates accountable. I think if I'm Lamar, I'm speaking up to John Harbaugh. And I don't know what he does, because, again, we're not in the castle, so we don't really know what happens behind the scenes. But somebody's got to do it. And I know you were at the game, so you didn't really see it, but Lamar Jackson, he looked pissed about some of the play calling, bro. He looked pissed about some of the play calling. And so that has to be a conversation, I'm sure, this week. Hey, when we're in these scenarios, you guys, you remember the goal line scenario maybe a couple minutes before the half, right, where we get all the way to the 1 and we cannot score. I don't understand for the life of me why the play calling can't just be, okay, if you want to run it on first and goal with Henry, sure. If you want to run it on 2nd and goal with Henry and try to force the issue, cool. 3rd down, let Lamar Jackson be in the gun, drop back, survey the field, and deliver a throw somewhere. Why does it always have to be a rollout, sprint out to the right side, shrink the field, and try to see what we can get from that? That, it doesn't work. It's not nearly as good of a play call as the Ravens think it is. It's kind of, go ahead.
Do you think that's John or Todd?
I think it's John. I think it's John. I think a lot of these plays, especially down in the red zone, the buck stops with him, right? If he feels like this type of play is effective, he's going to dial it up regardless of what, Todd Monken says. I do feel that way. I know he defers to his coordinators, but I think in those scenarios, we got somebody else making it rain here in the chat. DWAS again making it rain with the two beats in the chat. But again, really quick, when you're in these scenarios, I think that John Harbaugh does have some say so into what plays get called. Because we've been seeing stuff like this since before Todd Monken.
Yeah.
There were plays that were just kind of staples in the Ravens playbook, and there's just the only common denominator is John Harbaugh. So yeah.
I was about to make fun of Monken real quick, so I'm not gonna do it. I was about to. I don't know how you feel about Monken, but some of his play calls, we've gotten 3 points on 2 drives that were at the 1 yard line in the past 2 weeks. That's like some Greg Roman level type stuff. But because I keep my playbook in my shorts, everybody loves me. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my gosh.
it just
Hey,
like
Alex is on one
oh
tonight,
my
you guys.
I just man, I just you gotta have fun with it. I guess you have to have
You
fun,
do.
but
That
that
is hilarious.
watching Derrick Henry throw a pass. I'm like, we've asked for that, but not in the rollout way, dude. The rollout where you eliminate one side of the field, it's worked one time, and that was the Rams game in 23 to Zay. It's never
Yeah.
worked outside of that, and that was an insane throw and catch.
Yeah. I don't understand that either. I'll never understand shrinking a side of the field when you have a Lamar Jackson who has shown time and time and time again that, if a play is breaking, like, again, let Lamar drop back. Let him drop back. Let him spin out of a sack if he has to. Let him scramble and threaten his legs towards the end zone, then throw it somewhere across his body, Let Lamar Jackson, moral of the story is let Lamar Jackson score down low when we're in the red zone. Like, put the ball in his hands. That's what you got him for. And that's the reason why he's so frustrated when the Ravens get down on the goal line like that and they can't score, because he's not being given the proper opportunity, the proper shot to really go ahead and take it himself like he deserves to do. He's an MVP level quarterback. But do got another super chat donation. You guys going crazy tonight with the super chat donations. Appreciate you guys. We had DWAS with this one, says, would you want Matt Patricia as DC?
No,
Not
absolutely not. No.
Yeah. I think it's really
Love you,
just head
DWAS,
coach,
but no.
bro.
You're no.
Yeah.
What's next? Wink? We bring a Wink back?
Oof.
We might as well with
Yeah.
the blitzes Zach Orr was sending yesterday.
Yeah, bro. It did not look good. It did not look good at all. Especially some of those corner blitzes that we saw. I always get worried when I see those happen. We do have another super chat donation, though. This one's coming from, let me see, Mr. Phillips. Alex, you want to go ahead and read this one?
Yes, sir. I got you. Let me pull it up. He says, oh, I got you. Where's it at? He said, what does the regular season matter for us at this point? If we won, the narrative would be, so what? You need to win the playoffs. Flock, let's relax. Need to clean the defense for sure, / fire the DC. And you know what? You do make a good point here. Because if we were to blow them out, I don't want to speak for Sun. I know I'd be happy. My guys, let's calm down. We know what this team is aiming for, and this is just a small stepping stone. We saw it last year. We blew out teams, and the year before, and the year before. So I do agree, kind of relax. But although we had these question marks last year, I feel like this year, with another year mature, another year closer to the end of guys' careers, the time's ticking. And I think that's why I feel the way I do. Because I know there is a window. And the window can close. And we've seen it for teams. And there's been some great teams. I look at the Saints, in the late 2010s. They had a freaking squad. And they couldn't even touch the Super Bowl. Granted, the whole PI thing. But I don't want that to be the Ravens where it's me and you talking about a year or so. I'm like, man, remember that team from so-and-so? We were real close. And we're already doing it now with 23. We might be doing it with 24. Like, man, we had Clowney, Van Noy, Owe, Matabike, we had Queen and Roquan. Like, I don't want that to happen, and it's just kind of the what ifs, and that's kind of why I think I feel the way I do, because time is ticking, and you got to get that ring, or your time will pass.
The fact that you can go on YouTube and you can look up hour and a half long videos of strictly Lamar Jackson highlights in his NFL career but the Ravens still have no Super Bowls to show for it. You know how frustrating that is for a Ravens fan? Because I get frustrated every time I see those long videos. I'm like, bro, he has given us so many great moments over the years and still no Super Bowl. But we do have another super chat donation in the chat. This one's from Barry Hayes, who's also a new member
Welcome,
of the
welcome,
Purple
welcome.
Rain Gang. Welcome, Barry Hayes. We appreciate you for coming through, joining the Rain Gang family. Drops the 10 piece in the chat and he says, going to the KC game. It's 4 hours away, not going to see a loss. I know that's right, Barry. I know
Barry,
that's
make
right,
yourself
man.
heard. Make yourself heard there.
Yeah.
Let them know about the Ravens flocking. You're gonna bring home a win. I hope you do. I'm feeling it. I think you have to go there and you got to win this. You got to really make a statement. So we'll talk about that more on Thursday. But if there's any time to beat them, it's now because they don't look good. But neither do we. So who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. Alex, let's get to the Derrick Henry fumble. So that was a big one. I'm sure the stadium just kind of like deflated after that happened because it just kind of probably felt like I'd imagine, oh, here we go again. Late in the game against a good team, prime time. We're trying to run the ball, you know what I mean, to still kind of, you know, have integrity with that front, still try to run the ball and establish the run. And he fumbles. So how did you react to that? And do you think that this is cause for concern legitimately going forward for Derrick Henry?
You got to, I mean, that's 3 fumbles in 3 weeks. You've got to, worry about that 100%. So as for him, I feel like he's too good of a running back to not get it fixed or not address it. And I mean, obviously, it's online, but it's kind of some of the disrespect, man. Like this guy is Hall of Famer, but it's rightly earned criticism. But he's not being done favors with this line either, and I don't want to bring that up too. But it just
Yeah.
what happened from like once again from last year to this year, damn near 2,000 yards last year.
Well, I think that a lot of what we're seeing is not so much Derrick Henry just being straight up loose with the football. I think there's been some really good fumbles forced. You know what I mean? There's been
Oh yeah,
some
last
really,
night.
really good plays. Last night was a phenomenal punch out by Aiden Hutchinson. I think from the weak side, that was incredible. He got around him, punched it out from the left, and I heard people talking about this too about how Derrick Henry he's more comfortable with the ball in his right hand. So why are we going to the left where he's more susceptible to getting it punched out? Bro, I don't know. That sounds like a coach's problem to me. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things going on this team right now that kind of makes you scratch your head. And the only thing keeping this team afloat is Lamar Jackson. I think the coaching just all around, even from the little things like that with Derrick Henry, have to be kind of addressed. But no, getting back to Derrick Henry, before I get to DWAS's super chat here. Derrick Henry, man, I do have a lot of concern right now though, because while these were really good plays forced on him, that's not going to matter to his mental. You guys saw, and you were at the game, so I don't know if you saw, but I'm sure you saw the clip afterwards of him slamming his helmet on the sideline and damn near falling over the bench in that much despair. You know what I mean? That's going to be in his head next week. And it's not only going to be in his head, it's going to be in defensive coordinators' game plans going into the week planning for the Ravens and how you're going to stop Derrick Henry. It's like, okay, he's fumbled in every single game. The whole world knows it. He fumbled against the Bills. The whole nation was watching that one. Whole nation was watching last night against the Lions. Fumbled in two big moments. So you know they're going to be coming at him. And especially with this offensive line and guys getting into the backfield damn near immediately when Derrick Henry runs the football, which is another problem in itself. They're going to be punching at the football. And I don't want that. My only concern is it affects how aggressive Derrick Henry is running the football in the future. So it's definitely cause for concern. Definitely cause for concern.
And that's what happens when you have to play hero ball. You got to,
Yeah.
give up something, and he was trying to, maybe make a stiff arm or something, or run with one hand on the ball, and be fumbled. I tell you what, for that David Montgomery, that run, Marlon hauled ass, and he
Oh,
went.
yes.
So that was coming
Oh,
towards me, and I saw him just running. Like I didn't think Montgomery was going to score. Granted, he's not the. If it was Gibbs, that's a touchdown. But with Montgomery,
right.
I know there's been a lot of hate on Marlon. I got to give him credit because he went for the punch out, and I thought he was going to get it. He winded up from behind. He went for it, and he missed it. But
Yeah.
I appreciate how he didn't give up, and because he could have easily not ran the full length of the field and got him there. But that could have been a game changing play. I thought this is the moment. Here's that fumble. Here's that turnover we need. Didn't happen. And
Yeah.
next drive, I think they
I
get one.
I was, of course, in shock watching David Montgomery break off a 72-yard run, but like you said, I was even more in shock of how Marlon Humphrey ran him down. You know what I mean? I had like memories of DK Metcalf running down Buda Baker. You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it felt like. He was hawking him, and it was right there center screen. I loved that. Then he also almost did get the punch out too. That was, I mean, just a great hustle play from Marlon Humphrey to not give up that touchdown like that. Of course, they end up scoring anyway, but man, that was a hell of a hustling effort from Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah.
Another super chat donation in here. This one's from DWAS again. Appreciate you making it rain again for the third or fourth time on this
Thank
episode
you. Thank you. Thank you.
336 of PRP. DWAS says, "Did you like me with Real Fan Dan week 2, Sutton?" I did. I did. I thoroughly enjoyed that. You know, I follow you on social media, so I saw your post where you were with Real Fan Dan. You guys were doing the RAVNS Ravens chant. Super cool to see. Yeah, we gotta get some DWAS to some more games, man. We gotta get DWAS to some more games.
He'll be
That's for
there.
sure.
Believe that he will definitely be there.
Good, 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 good. But yeah. So what else? What else from this game? What else from this game? What else from this game, Alex? What were your other takeaways, man?
Um, I don't really know. I mean, I think we kind of touched on a lot of them.
Yeah.
Zay was quiet for the most part, but Bate showed up. Tez Walker had a catch that wasn't a touchdown, but it was a great
Right.
route, great
It
catch. Love to
was.
see that. D Hop, obviously, the catch on the sideline was beautiful. I'll tell you this, maybe.
Okay.
I see a lot of topic discussion online. Lamar throwing the
Mm-hmm.
ball away. How do you feel about that? Definitely
Mm.
think he held a little bit, but I feel like that's when you play hero ball, you gotta make something
Yeah.
happen, and that's what happens.
That was an interesting stat that they brought up on the broadcast that on average he only throws the ball away 0.7 times per game. So not even one time per game is he really throwing the ball away, which of course speaks to his athleticism. He's able to escape the pocket better than any other quarterback in the history of quarterbacks. So that might be why. But at the same time, sometimes you just have to live to fight another down. You can't be turning 2nd and 7 to 3rd and 14. You know what I mean? Like that's not winning football right there. So I do think that he has to be a little bit smarter with the football. Again, you got to tip your cap to Detroit for kind of keeping him contained, not allowing him to get out on rushes. He did mention after the game that, they put a spy out there, which we've seen teams do before, right? We've seen teams do before, but the Ravens just weren't winning up front enough in order to get Lamar Jackson enough room to really escape. So very unfortunate. I would like to see him throw the ball away a little bit more towards the boundary, but at the same time, you got to take the good with the bad when it comes to Lamar Jackson, because just as many times as you could say, "Oh, he should have threw that ball away," there's a
Yeah,
lot of plays that we can point to in those hour-long highlight videos where he should have thrown the ball away, but he
yeah,
didn't. He actually made a play downfield, and it ended up being a huge play, right? And
yep,
everybody forgets about those. But yeah, man, I kind of took it with a grain of salt. When you're a Ravens fan, you kind of know why that stat does look like that.
yeah. I think one more for me.
Okay.
Nowhere near a redemption game, but man, was I happy to see Mark Andrews catch that touchdown with a man draped on him. With that being said, you can make that catch, but not gonna bring it up.
Hey, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't hate it.
But in a big game, granted it wasn't at home, I was happy to see him step up. And that's we're not asking for 100 yards, but it's catches like that, move the chains or a touchdown catch. Like that's what we're asking for. That's what we know from him, and it was good to see that. So I'm hoping that his confidence is back, and likely is coming back. I think next week. So that bodes well for the offense in that aspect. But that we have no problem scoring points. It's the defense. We're up 31
Yeah.
point or 30 points. You should be winning the game. That's simple.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. The Ravens are averaging what now, like 35 a game or something like that. If the defense cannot contain some of these offenses that have just competent weapons, because the Bills, as much as we want to hype up Keon Coleman and Shakir and those guys over there, they the weapons that they have don't even compare, I think, to what you got going on right now. And what's the team? Dag. The Rams are coming up, with Tay Adams and Puka Nakua.
Yep.
Like, these are teams that are really, really going to give us trouble. We got Nico Collins coming to town. It's
Roma Dunze looks good. I'll
Yeah,
tell you that I think he might have the most yards in the league right now for a receiver.
yeah. So it's not going to get any easier. Um, but I do want to mention this really quick, Alex. I want to talk about why I'm feeling so doom and gloom today, more than just a regular loss. Namdi Matabike,
Mm,
while we have not gotten any concrete news on the future of him as it pertains to the 2025 season, all signs are pointing to him being done for the year. And, obviously he's got this neck thing going on right now, and the neck is nothing to play with. It connects everything to everything, right? So you can't. I, I just don't see him back for at the very least 8 to 10 weeks, right? Something like that. I was talking to Coach Evans. Shout out to Sip to Tally Films. Coach was basically telling me in a nutshell, like, hey, like, I know people. You're not going to see number 92 for a minute. It's going to be a while. And like that news right there, that really, really hurts the Ravens because as you saw yesterday, what the Lions were able to do, just running the football, I mean, let's not even talk about the lack of pressure that was put on Jared Goff. That could have been, more if Nnamdi Madubuike or maybe even a Kyle Van Noy had played. But just the deficiencies in the run game were horrible without Nnamdi Madubuike. They were doubling Travis Jones and getting whatever they wanted up the gut. We do have Mr. Phillips making it rain here
thank you, thank
in
you,
the
thank you.
chat, dropping the two-piece in the chat. We appreciate you. What did Mr. Phillips say? Patrick Ricard is missed for this O-line. Yeah, that's another
Yeah,
big one.
it is. Respect to Zaire Mitchell. He's doing what he can.
Yeah,
Nobody's knocking him. You're undrafted. You are going out there and you can see, it's his. This is his first 3 games in the league, and it's the Chiefs. And I'm not sorry, the Bills and the Lions. 2 out of the 3 games. That is not easy, man. Even the Browns defense is not easy to block those guys. So
nope.
much respect to him for that. But throwing Ricard out there is a different beast. So we haven't even seen him practice yet. I would love to see maybe
Yeah.
a limited pop up this week. Don't think he'll play against the Chiefs at all. Think likely will, but him coming back, we could definitely use that.
Yeah, because Ricard hasn't even practiced yet, right? And he's got a
Yeah,
calf, and it's something he's been dealing with for over a month now. Like
yeah,
going on 2 months, it feels like. And so that's very concerning, very, very concerning. I see D Wiz in
yeah,
the chat. Our newest member, D Wiz, says Zaire Mitchell paid and deserves credit.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's doing what's asked of him. That's for sure.
He is.
Let me see. I saw another interesting comment in here. This one's coming from my guy Khalil Bowling. Khalil says we need to get into a more ball control offense. Sometimes we score way too fast. Got to keep that defense off the field as much as possible. Yeah, I totally agree. At this point, you kind of have to take strides to kind of hide that defense, to protect that defense. You know what I mean? Lamar Jackson, that's another kind of gift and a curse. Lamar is always looking for explosive plays downfield. So we tend to get downfield pretty quickly. And if Derrick Henry's not sustaining these drives by popping off these, 4 or 6, yards at a time, it's going to make it very, very hard for the Ravens to stay on the field and the Ravens defense to stay off the field. I say this all the time. The best defense is a good offense because if you can keep the opposing team's offense off the field, there's no better defense that you can play on them. So I totally agree with Khalil, but what do you think?
I agree. The Bills game was, man, we 3-4 plays, man. Touchdown. Touchdown. And so that defense already tired back on there, but same goes for the offense. Their guys just came off the field, so they should be tired too. Not too sure, but that is a good point you make. Uh, I think I want to bring up what Jeremiah said. It's still about the division and the playoffs. It is, I think, and not to be, the shining light, but the AFC North, it's pretty ass right now. When you really look at it, the Browns, they got the nice win over the Packers, but are they going to be a contender?
Yeah,
The Patriots fumbled at the 1 and threw an interception at the 1. And the Bengals got blown out by the Vikings. And Burrow is out for the year.
yeah.
If he comes back, it has to be the playoffs. That was confirmed. So right now, it's like if the Ravens can just like 10, 11 wins might win you the division. And to me, that's not cutting it. I want 12, 13. But Just get in
They
the
have an
dance.
opportunity. Yeah, just get in the dance. They have an opportunity to make a big comeback. You guys know the opponents after the bye week aren't that stiff. Competition's not that stiff. Now, like I said earlier in the show, if this Ravens defense cannot get its act together and they start every game
Yeah.
looking like how they looked against the Lions and they can't stop a running attack and they can't get to any of these quarterbacks, I mean, I don't care if we're playing, Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, some of these guys that we got coming up. They're gonna pick us apart too.
Yeah.
We're going to make these guys look like all-stars if the Ravens cannot fix what they got going on defense right now. Again, worst defense in the league. Best offense, but worst defense in the league. It's incredible.
I'm not even gonna, could kill for a guy like a Trevor Price, Jarrett Johnson, Michael McCrary, not even name, the big three. You know what I
Mm,
mean? McAllister,
yeah,
guys
some
like that, man.
dogs.
We kill
Yeah,
for them. Hell, even Bart Scott, next to Ray, he was so. That I mean, that's all I got for the Ravens. It's been a nice 55 minutes of just ranting. I don't have much left to
yeah,
me to talk. I mean, I'll do a nice little league roundup. I thought this was an insane Sunday for football, but
yeah,
yesterday, man, it was a heartbreaker. Not even a heartbreaker. It was embarrassing and sad.
yeah. It was insane. But yeah, we can go ahead and get into a little bit more NFL round the league talk. What were some of the things that you saw? Sunday rather. I forgot
Man,
today's Tuesday.
the
What are some of the
ending
things you
to,
saw that stood out to you?
the ending to the 1 p.m. window was insane.
The
Absolutely
witching hour.
insane. The witching hour, when wins become losses and losses become wins.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs' devil magic has risen up and gone to Philadelphia. They now have it. Blocking
Mm,
that kick and having Jordan Davis, defensive tackle, take it for the
yeah,
touchdown to cover for the Eagles. That's that
that
was
was
truly
huge,
insane
and
to
and they
watch.
came. They walked the Rams down in that game too because the Rams had them. They had them pretty good. And here's what I say. I said it right after the Super Bowl last year. I argue that Jalen Hurts, top 5 quarterback. Everybody was saying, "Oh, the Eagles are protecting him. He doesn't have to throw the football." Threw the football against the Rams. Did it very well. Brought his team back, and they won the game. Again, albeit off of a blocked field goal attempt that the Rams were getting ready to walk off and win with. But you guys get the point, man. This Eagles team, like you mentioned, the devil magic is right there, but they could very well find themselves back in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, I think the Rams pulled the Ravens. They were up big and they blew it. The Buccaneers tried to pull the Ravens. The Jets, I don't know if you saw the Aaron Glenn dance on the sideline. That was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was hilarious. They blocked that kick, took it back, and then Baker marched down, was able to win them the game. Um, what was the other block kick? There's another one I'm pretty sure. Oh, the Browns. They blocked the Packers. They went on down to win the game. That was a shock, man. The Packers, who
Yeah.
looked like the best team at a point in the league with those 2 wins.
Really
Yeah,
quick, is Baker Mayfield today a top 5 quarterback, like right now in this very moment?
you can argue it. I wouldn't put him top five, but you can make a case
I mean, what 5 are you putting over Baker Mayfield
right
today, like
right
September
now.
23rd? Yeah, yeah,
Oh, it's hard to judge after 3 games because I know who I still got Lamar ahead of him, Allen,
yeah.
and although Mahomes, like, I have to put Mahomes in front of him because you have to, unfortunately.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Mahomes is really the only one who's does anything on that Kansas City offense right
Yeah,
now. I mean, I think still leads them in rushing, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, they could have flipped that this past weekend, but I'll give you that. Yeah, for sure. So you
Burrow's
said
out.
Mahomes, Allen, Lamar. You
Yeah,
already said Herbert, right?
I'd not say Herbert. We got Herbert as well. I'll put him there. He's
Herbert's
been
got to
playing
go in
great.
there. Yeah.
You can
And after that, I
Golf just
mean,
put
Sam
up 80
Darnold's been
points
playing
in
well.
two
I'm not gonna lie
games.
to you.
Yeah, uh,
Yeah,
Golf just put up 80 points after I just called him mediocre.
yeah. Only reason I'll say Baker can get in that top 5 is because he's winning these games with the Bucks at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like he's like the reason why they're winning, and I can't really say that for a whole lot of other guys,
Yeah,
but I think that right now, as of September 23rd, 2025, it's not crazy to say that Baker Mayfield is top 5. And again, it's just today.
it's not.
The list is fluid. The list is fluid, but if we're talking about a fluid list, I think Baker's got to go in that top 5.
I don't hate it. I will tell you this though: if you have a sports book, Emeka Egbuka, offensive rookie of the year, sprinkle.
Yeah.
I got it at
Yeah.
plus 370 today
Oh,
because
wow.
Mike Evans is out for probably 4 to 5 weeks, and this kid,
Interesting.
wow, kid is the
He's
real
he's a
deal.
beast. He's a
Real
beast.
deal.
He might be next up, man. He might be next up. Um, Let me see what else from the day did I take away. Oh, yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the Patriots, 5 turnovers in that game. I mean, they were just fumbling out of their ass. It was terrible. And the Steelers only walking away with a 7-point victory. So yeah, you might be onto something. We might be able to win this division after all pretty easily. We'll see though. Commanders taking care of business without Jaden Daniels over the Raiders. Raiders got some soul searching to do, man. And as an Ashton Genty fantasy owner,
Ooh,
I'm kind of concerned. I'm kind of concerned. The
yeah.
offensive line in Las Vegas is not up to snuff right now, and it's really showing up in Genty's numbers.
Speaking of fantasy, I had Jaden Daniels in my big money league. Guess who I decided to pick up as my quarterback this week or last week?
Marcus Mariota.
No, that would have been the sensible thing, right? Michael Penix, a whopping
Oof.
3.64 points, I believe, is what I got. I'm like, man,
Yikes.
all right. Beat the Vikings, who have a good defense. I'm like, all right, go to Carolina. It's in Carolina, but you can handle that. Drake London, I like. Obviously, Darnell Mooney, I like. Kyle Pitts, Bijan. What was that?
it just it just goes, and against the Panthers too. It just goes to show how unpredictable this league is,
Yeah,
and how unprofitable it is to, like, especially if you're a sports bettor. Oh my goodness, man. You have some rough weeks messing with the NFL because stuff like that happens. A complete shutout. A complete shutout. I think the only shutout this year so far, the Panthers blanked the Falcons 30-0. Embarrassing. Embarrassing.
absolutely embarrassing. For other one, I mean, the Saints got. Are they the worst team in the league? The Saints.
E- mm, yeah. Yeah. They're the worst team. They just, there's nothing going for the Saints. And going into this year, they knew that they had nothing going for them. When your quarterback competition is between Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler, and that's who you're really banking on. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, the sky is definitely not the limit for them. Um, Other than that, the
Colts 3
49ers
0.
squeaked out a 1-point win. Colts are 3
Ooh,
and 0. Go ahead.
49ers. Nick Bosa out for the year.
Yeah.
Now, that's a hard one. That's but you still got Fred Warner, who will keep that defense right. But losing him, man. And they got was it Bryce Huff? I think they have. They got him from the Eagles, but that's not Nick Bosa.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is a huge blow to this 49ers defense, man. And honestly, the 49ers, they're a team right now. They're what, 3 and 0, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. 3 and 0. But I can see this being one of, like, the fraudulent teams that kind of just starts getting exposed week in, week out, and they just kind of go on a big slide. So we'll have to continue to see about that. Bears beat the Cowboys 31-14. Nobody really
Caleb
saw
looked
that coming
good.
either.
Caleb looked
Caleb looked
good.
better. Do you think that, because I heard that the biggest thing is, like, him kind of going off script, right? And Ben Johnson kind of going crazy over that. I didn't get to watch this game in its entirety. I only saw the highlights, but I mean, what did you see from Caleb Williams? Like, was he making some crazy throws?
Dude, that flea flicker, that was he
Mm,
launched that. I didn't like the
interesting.
the toss back from the running back, but he launched that into the breadbasket. The first Rome touchdown, wide open, beat his corner, making the right making the right reads. And I think Ben Johnson is kind of slowing the game down for him. So I'm
But
not really gonna I'm not gonna put a whole bunch of stock in it, but it's a good win for them, and they need that. Chicago does, so that's good for them. Um, the Colts 3-0 though. I say
okay.
still like I'm a 1-2 Ravens fan. I'm still not sold by the Colts. I'm not sold by Daniel Jones. I'm
Right.
gonna be their hater this year. I'm gonna have to be the Colts hater, and I'm fine by it. I've been a hater of them since I came into this world. Screw the Colts, but I'm just I'm not defense looks good for them. I'm just not trusting Daniel Jones. I know what he
Which is
is.
fair.
I know what he
Yeah. I
is.
mean, and they beat up on the Titans. The Titans are another one of those teams that are right down there with the Saints in terms of worst teams in the league. So you kind of got to take this one with a grain of salt. Jonathan Taylor, 3 touchdowns in this one. Love Jonathan Taylor, but at some point you are going to have to rely on Danny Dimes to bring you home and win you some of these big games. And they're kind of like in the same
Yeah.
boat as the 49ers to me, where I could see them, they're starting off hot right now, but I could see things unraveling as the season kind of wears on, kind of the opposite of what the Ravens got going on right now, honestly. But yeah, I think that about does it because we talked about Eagles Rams. Yep. Yeah, I think that about does it. That'll about wrap up our segment of NFL Roundup and actually this episode of the Purple Rain podcast.
One
This has
more.
been an amazing
Sorry, one more.
episode. Oh, you got one
One
more
more.
for me? What's going
All right,
on? What's
so
good?
should we pick up C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Got released today by the
Okay.
Texans.
Oh, yeah.
He hasn't played nearly as well as he did in 22 with the Eagles. Bit of a decline with the Lions in last year. I love the energy he brings. He brings a Marcus Peters type vibe. He doesn't care what he's going to say. He'll talk trash to you. Harbaugh is not like that. I'm going to leave it at that.
But that's kind of why we bought in Jair Alexander, no? Because he kind of gives some of that Marcus Peters type vibe, kind of outspoken, things like that. Um, man,
See,
I'm not looking at anything other than pass rusher.
Look at CJ's Twitter. Jair doesn't have social media. CJ does, and he will let you know. But I wouldn't hate the move we got, but I need an edge rusher. I need a lineman. Trade targets real quick. Titans fire sale. Kevin Zeitler. Hey, big head, come home.
Hey, man, something has to. I don't know what move is going to be made, but I know Eric DeCosta is gearing up to make a big swing, especially, and we'll leave it with this. If the Ravens were to lose next week, I don't think that the season is over, but I do think that that warrants then, if you're Eric DeCosta, or hell, even if you're Steve Bisciotti, we got to make a change. There has to be some sort of shakeup somewhere. We got to take a big swing because, like you mentioned, that Super Bowl window is not going to be open forever. It's already been open for years now, and we still have not been able to get through that hoop, get over that hump. So if the Ravens lose another big game to the Chiefs next week, I could definitely see some big swings being taken by the upper management of the team. I can see it.
Chris says, I don't care if we pick up the booty bandit as long as they want to actually play.
The booty
Talking
bandit
about Christian Wilkins. I mean, listen.
Oh, Christian Wilkins, yeah.
I hate to say it. It fits the need right now. I'm not sure what his health is looking like. I know that was a big question mark with why he got let go of the Raiders and other things that,
Right.
allegedly, not too sure. But listen, man, we could use that right now. That's a crazy name, though.
That is a crazy name. The booty bandit. That is crazy. But appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming through to this episode 336 of the Purple Rain podcast. It's been a fun one. It's been a very therapeutic one, for us here, and then a lot of Ravens fans I know as well. So if you did enjoy the content you just witnessed, make sure you like the video on your way out. Also, subscribe to our channel as well. If you are new here to the Purple Rain podcast, we do go live every single week. This one is a little different. We normally go live on Mondays, but since the Ravens play Monday night, here we are on Tuesday. We'll be back on Thursday previewing the Chiefs game. So make sure you stay locked in with the Purple Rain podcast YouTube channel by hitting that subscribe button and maybe even considering joining one of our memberships as well. So with that being said, though, this has been an awesome episode. Want to appreciate each and every one of you guys for coming through. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you for coming through this episode 336 of the Purple Rain podcast. Sucks that we had so much fun on a Purple Pain podcast, but I think next week we get a win in Kansas City. Yeah. And depending how defense looks, the vibes could change real quick. Let's fingers crossed for that. But we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you on Thursday for the preview show of the Purple Rain podcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And with that being said, of course, like he always says, stay positive, test negative, and never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. Episode 336 of PRP. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.